celebrity in town, the celebrity of the moment.
Well, he's not just a celebrity, he's Einstein. You know, we talked to him yesterday. All of a sudden, after beating Houston, his IQ points went up to 40 points. And I said, well, you know what happens, right? If you lose, they drop another 30. So the one thing I liked about him is that he was in control. He had it all in perspective. It was, after all, just one game.
One game at a time. He does use a lot of cliches.
It's a cliche fest with Bill. That's what coaches are for.
Bruce Costas, the head coach of the New York Jets. He is in his third season. Interestingly enough, last week, the Jets and the Steelers both got behind early in the ball game. Both came back. The Steelers won their game. The Jets had an opportunity to win. They could not pull it off.
But Costas, the thing that impressed me about him, Charlie, was the fact that he made no excuses. Very first thing he said was, we got to beat the teams we're supposed to beat. There's no more moral victories in the National Football League.
And they both have young quarterbacks. Browning Nagel, number 8, New York Jets, threw for 366 yards last week. A great start. They're pinning their hopes on this young man.
And plus the fact that, as you mentioned, a lot of adversity, down 17-0. He led his team back, and he proved to them that he can throw them to victory.
And Neil O'Donnell of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, Neil O'Donnell was in charge of a very balanced attack. Of course, he won a very spirited competition in preseason against Bubby Bristol, and you can see by the numbers right there, he did a very sound job against a very strong Houston defense.
And going back to last week for both of these quarterbacks, they did not lose their poise.
I think that's very important, particularly where Nagel is concerned. Of course, this is O'Donnell's third year, but Nagel's, in effect, a rookie. You know, he sat out the entire first year and really didn't play much. And now, after being deeply ensconced into the Coslet system in the offseason, he showed that in his first regular season NFL game, as he told us, I belong here, I can play.
Louis Aguiar will kick off for the New York Jets. Dwight Stone is the return man for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Stone will take it at the 6-yard line.
Bad decision. Let that ball go out of bounds, take it at the 35.
And he returns it to the 15. Pat Chafee is the man who makes the tackle. And for the Steelers, the quarterback is Neil O'Donnell, 6'3", 229 pounds, drafted in the 3rd round in 1990. Foster and Hodge, the running backs, Graham, Stone, and Cooper are the receivers for the Steelers. And that offensive line, Jackson, Love, Dawson, Hasselrig, and Ilkin. First down, 15-yard line. We expect the Steelers to establish the run. That is what they want to do. And they do it with a 6-yard gain by Barry Foster. Ryan Washington, leading tackler last week for the Jets, has his first of the afternoon defensively for New York. There they are, the front 7. Bird, Musserow, Gunn, Loggeman, Houston, Clifton, and Mo Lewis. Lewis with a terrible game last week. He said this week they're going to see that Mo is back. Grim, Hasty, Washington, and Young in the secondary. 2nd down and 4. And Hodge is going to pick up a yard on the play. That's going to be about it. Maybe 2. Washington with the tackle. 3rd down and short.
You mentioned Brian Washington, double-digit tackles last week, number 48. Does an excellent job in run support for the New York Jets.
Third down and 3. The ball between the 22 and the 23-yard line. 6 in the secondary for the Jets. McMillan comes in.
This is about the time, Charlie, where Neil O'Donnell would say, boy, I wish you'd have signed Louis Lipp.
He has 4 wide receivers. And gives instead the handoff to Hodge. He's got the first down. Lonnie Young makes the tackle for the Jets. The Steelers, when we talked to him, made this statement. The Jets made the same statement. They said it will be smash mouth football.
Well, this is a good call by Ron Earhart. Draw play 3rd and 3. Actually, Lonnie Young does a good job of run support. He meets him right there at the stick. But again, we're talking about 230 versus 185, and in this case, no contest.
And the ball at the 28-yard line. First down of the ball game. Opening drive, no score. We're just underway here at Three Rivers Stadium. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets. Hodge goes in motion. And Foster is the ball carrier. And if the Steelers continue to pick up 5 and 6 on first down, they'll stay with this. Kyle Clifton makes the tackle, and they will establish the running game, which is what they want to do.
Well, it appears that the Steelers have found a weakness on the left side of the defensive line. Take a look. Watch Hasselrig and Ilkin pull out on kind of a miniature version of the counter tray, but instead of the misdirection in the backfield, they just give the ball to Foster, and he follows behind the right side of the line. Excellent job there by the 6-time NCAA champion heavyweight wrestler Carlton Hasselrig, getting out quickly and leading the way for Foster.
2nd and 5. This time Foster is stopped.
You know, it's interesting, Charlie, one of the things, as you pointed out, that Bruce Coslett mentioned that hurt them early in the game against Atlanta is the very first play of the game. The Falcons had a 35-yard draw play. They did not want the Steelers to be able to get out and establish the ground game, but thus far they've been getting some pretty good yardage on the ground, although that time they stuffed it.
Ernie Mills and Charles Davenport come in. 4 wide receivers now for the Steelers. Bruce Coslett, the head coach of the Jets, will have 6 in the secondary.
This is also a point, Charlie, where they missed Eric Green, their big tight end. They wouldn't normally have to go to 4 wideouts. They could keep Eric Green in the middle, and he'd be able to pick up the 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6.
Well, high snap. O'Donnell throws it down. He goes deep, has a man. It is caught and is tipped around.
Jeff Graham, the big star last week against the Houston Oilers, just finds the seam in the 2 deep zone. Check him right down the middle. It doesn't look like he's going to get there, but the throw is right on the money. Nice catch between the hands. A 45-yard gain for the man who had 7 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown against the Oilers last week. Charlie, interesting point here. This young man last year had 3 catches the entire season. Now all of a sudden he's got 8 catches. He's looking good.
First down at the Jet 22-yard line. Back to the running game. Here's Foster. 18-yard line, gain of 4. 2nd down and 6. Mike Grimm with the tackle.
You mentioned the conversation with Mo Lewis. He talked about the missed tackles that the Jets just couldn't afford. Right there, it looked like they had him stacked at the line of scrimmage. You could give Foster credit. He busted a couple of tackles and able to get those 4 yards.
Foster 4 carries, a total of 17 yards rushing.
This man right here, Mo Lewis, number 57, is somebody that really has to come through for the New York Jets. I'm talking to Pete Carroll. This is a man who has to not only make the tackles, but has to put on a pass rush, because the front 4, particularly late in the season, was not getting the pass rush that they liked, and as a result, they're having to blitz Lewis more than they'd like to.
O'Donnell has pressure. He is brought down. Sacked at the 29-yard line.
Naturally, just as I say that the front 4 is not able to generate the pass rush, Jeff Lageman proves me wrong. Beats John Jackson to the outside with a quick move, and hopefully for the Jets there, he's not in too much pain. They tried Jeff Lageman at linebacker. Look at the move right there. Quick with the hands. Excellent. This is why right there, if you saw the hands over John Jackson, that's why you have so many defensive linemen that are utilizing martial arts now. The quick moves with the hands, John Jackson unable to get his hands on the chest of Lageman, and Lageman with the sack.
Lageman, first sack of the ball game, loss of 9. They'll spot it at the 27-yard line. It will be 3rd down and 15.
Lageman led the Jets last year in sacks with 10, and that was a big one right there to slow down at least the momentum of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I would guess that he'll be able to walk that off. And am I mistaken? Look at that underneath the helmet. That's short hair. That's pretty short hair for Jeff. Do you remember last year he had the ponytail and the scarf?
I know. He's been watching you on television.
Wait, what was that?
Well, you cut yours.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Because, you know, in my case, it was a network dictum.
I know,
in his
but
case, you know, he's a free spirit.
I thought it was a gotcha.
Yeah, you can't wear short hair and drive a 1340 Harley for goodness sake.
Steelers 2 for 2, 3rd down opportunity, 3rd down conversions. This one is a long 3rd and 15. All Fraze replacing Lageman. This one is intercepted. A terrible throw by O'Donnell. It is intercepted by Dennis Price. He was expecting, I believe, Davenport to go to the corner. He went to the post, and nobody was there except Dennis Price.
I think you're absolutely right, Charlie. But just for the sake of Dennis Price, you got to be happy for him. Here's a guy that years ago they got from the Raiders, had a serious knee surgery when he was out all of last year. Now he has finally come back, and that, in effect, like you said, is a jump ball. Now take a look close to the goal line here at number 20. Does his momentum take him into the end zone? Is that the right call there in terms of a touchback? As you can hear by the reaction of the crowd, they feel maybe it should have been spotted at the 1.
The ball comes out to the 20-yard line. Nagel opens up with a play-action fake, goes deep, completes the pass to the 44-yard line, a gain of 24 to Rob Moore, and a flag down back at the 11-yard line.
Well, you can see that Criswell is not too terribly happy about that. Jeff Criswell is the one that's got called for holding.
69 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down. It's on the left tackle, number 69, Jeff Criswell. Offensively for the Jets, Browning, Nagel at quarterback, Thomas back to the running backs, Toon, Moore, and Boyer, the receiver. That offensive line, Criswell, who just got called. Caddick in between is White and Eastman. So the Jets now start from their own 10-yard line. First down and 20. The noise factor is here. A little play-action fake. Nagel deep over the middle again. This one is incomplete at the 30-yard line. Rob Carpenter, the intended receiver. D.J. Johnson was there for the defense for the Steelers. Davidson, Williams, Evans, Gerald Williams, Nickerson, Little, and Lloyd. With Woodson, Johnson, Lake, and Perry in the secondary. When they go to the nickel, Larry Griffin will check in as an extra DB.
And Larry Griffin had an outstanding game last week. 2 interceptions versus Warren Moon. In fact, that secondary has been playing some excellent football.
Second down and 20. The give is to Blair Thomas. And he has 9 to the 19. It'll be third down. Rod Woodson with the tackle.
Once again, an inauspicious beginning for the quarterback. It turns out to be a 34-yard turnaround. The big catch downfield negated by the holding penalty, and now Nagel is faced with a third down and 11. And of course, if you recall, his first snap that he took from center against the Atlanta Falcons, he fumbled. So at least from that standpoint, he started off better this game.
But again, on the first series, the Jets shooting themselves in the foot. Nagel, far side. It is broken up incomplete. Al Toon, the intended receiver. Sammy Walker had the coverage. Steelers hold. Jets will be kickers.
Timing was just a little bit off on that play. Browning Nagel needed to get it there just a little bit quicker. Watch Toon at the top of your screen. Watch when he comes out of his break how long it takes for the ball to get there. Right now it should be thrown. And now it's thrown. Just a little bit too late. Walker's able to come up, get his hand on the ball. Good defensive play by Walker.
Louis Aguiar will be kicking a 45-yard average against Atlanta last week. Jeff Graham is the return man. Drops it, gets it away. Now takes a jet roll.
Now I think Aguiar's got a legitimate complaint here, Charlie. If no one touched that ball, if Warren Williams did not touch that ball, that should be roughing the punter. He got absolutely hammered.
Not if he dropped it. Once he dropped it, all protection is off. 64 yards on the kick and the roll.
And that's what he just said. You're absolutely right. And he's not very happy. You can tell. He really took a shot. Punters are not used to that sort of collision. Is the snap bad, or is it just that he drops the ball? Snap's right there. He just drops
it. Now all protection is off. As soon as it hits the ground. Oh, he's...
You got that right.
Oh, man. Whoa.
Oh, man. And the strange thing about it is the thing ends up being a 65-yard punt. Warren Williams, of course, involved in that fake punt against the Houston Oilers last week. He's coming up big in the kicking game for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers ball, no score in the ball game. Pittsburgh at their own 16-yard line. And they come back to the ground game. Fumble. Jets say they have it, and they do. New York recovers Barry Foster's fumble. And it was Kyle Clifton who comes up with it.
Really no excuse for that. Take a look at the handoff in the exchange. Is this a bad exchange? Actually, it is. It slipped through his right hand. You know, there's always an argument, Charlie, as to running backs as to how they want to take that ball. I remember O.J. Simpson once doing a dissertation on the fact that he wanted to make it like a basket with two hands below the ball. That way, if there's any slip, he could cup it. If you do it that way with one arm between, once it slips through, you don't have a second chance of getting it. And as a result, big break for the Jets.
Jets at the 17-yard line of the Steelers. The give us to Blair Thomas, and he is upended right at the line of scrimmage. There's a flag down on the play. Gerald Williams makes this shot.
As usual, the debate, who went first? Little discussed on the part of the Steelers, so I guess they did.
Encroachment before the snap. Right end on the defense. 5 yards. Still first down.
That would be Donald Evans. There was a little bit of movement there anticipating the snap, but of course the Steeler argument as usual was, well, he thought it was a left tackle. Gordon McCarter didn't agree.
The report on Logman, a sprained knee, will not be back. That will hurt the Jets defense.
Well, that will.
Oh, yes, big time. Thomas trying to get to the outside. Kenny Davidson makes the tackle.
Showing good quickness is Kenny Davidson, knifing through from his left-end defensive position. Oftentimes, this sort of sweep takes time to develop. Now, watch there, number 64. He beats the block of the right guard. Now, watch the quickness of foot right here. Good job by Kenny Davidson to bring down Blair Thomas for a loss.
Loss of a yard to the 13. It'll be second down and 6. 6 minutes and 50 seconds time remaining. We're in the first period. No score, 2 turnovers. Jets with the 2 takeaways, an interception and the fumble recovery. And they have the first opportunity here. Nagel throws, almost picked out. Another flag. D.J. Johnson had up ahead of Steam Thomas, the intended receiver. I thought he was just going to steam by it and pick it off. And a holding call against the Jets.
Well, that's where Browning Nagel's strong arm really helped him out there, because he threw completely across the field. And if he doesn't gun it across, you're absolutely right. D.J. Johnson, one of the defensive backs who did not play last week because of a
holding
shoulder.
66, offense, 10 yards, repeat second down.
Dave Cadigan, the one that they caught for the holding there.
The ball is at 23-yard line. We'd like to welcome those of you watching the Raiders-Cincinnati game here in the first quarter. Just over 6.5 minutes to go. No score between the Jets and the Steelers. The Jets with 2 takeaways and a second and 16. As they have been plagued by miscues, the pass is complete to Chris Burkett at the 15-yard line. A gain of 8 on the play. Nickerson with the tackle.
Interesting, Hardy Nickerson was throwing his arms up and down. I don't know if it was because he thought that he pushed off or just because he wants the crowd in the game. This is a nice catch by Burkett, and thank goodness he's 6'4", because that ball was way up there, and that was a tough catch. Showed a lot of courage coming across the middle to make up with that catch.
Bill Cowher, the head coach of the Steelers, asked the fans to warm up their vocal cords for the 3 extra hours since it's a 4 o'clock start, and they have been a part of this ball game. Nagel rolling right. He's being chased from the backside. He's throwing this one away.
Little jawing going on, and you can see Irv Eatman right there with Greg Lloyd getting into it. That was precipitated by the fact that Greg Lloyd said something to Browning Nagel, and Eatman wants them to know, you are not going to mess with our quarterback. That is football's version of baseball when you throw under another guy's chin right there. As Irv Eatman said, don't you mess with our number 8. He's the franchise.
Look, and now Nagel was right in the middle of it.
Who's the peacemaker? Yeah.
But Eatman has to understand one thing, that when you make those kind of physical statements, don't make it in front of the Steelers bench.
No.
You can pick a better spot on the field.
A couple of years ago, those fans that might have remembered a Kansas City Raider game, Irv Eatman was in the middle of it with Greg Townsend when Townsend pulled off his helmet. And that's what ended up, that precipitated Townsend's suspension for a game.
It'll be 4th down and a 32-yard field goal attempt. by Jason Starosky.
Charlie, all of this extracurricular activity has muted the fact that this was an outstanding stand by the defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who gave it up inside the 20 and now forced a field goal.
It is up, and it is good. And the New York Jets take the lead by a score of 3-0. And we'll be back with a kickoff. Welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium. Louis Aguiar will be kicking off for the New York Jets. And Dwight Stone is the deep back as the return man last week against Houston. 177 all-purpose yards for Dwight.
And probably the most significant things he did were on the reverses. Big reverse that he gained on 3rd and 5 at the end of the game with a 2-minute. There's Jason Starosky. You should have seen his reaction after making that 32-yarder, Charlie, last week against the Atlanta Falcons. He hit the upright at 41 and missed at 42 yards. And so I don't know if he was necessarily on the bubble, but he needed that one for confidence. And the way he ran off the field, you would have thought he won a playoff game or something. He was genuinely excited, patting everybody on the back.
He was really thrilled, and rightly so. He had to think about it all week long. Here's the kickoff by Aguiar. And Stone takes it at the goal line. Cuts to the near side. He's to the 20. And then ridden down at the 25-yard line, and a flag goes down. Joe Kelly makes the stop.
I think they're going to get Kelly for having that hand across the face mask. And once again, the ever-present argument, is it a 5 or a 15-yarder? Did he pull on it? That's just a subjective judgment of the official. In this case, Tommy Moore.
Face mask, number 58, kicking team on the tackle. 5 yards from the dead ball spot. First down.
Evidently didn't feel it was flagrant.
Jets lead it by a score of 3-0, and we'll be back in just a moment. Steelers have the ball.
Operation, building people's dreams. And by Fran Oil Filters. Fran, you can pay a little now or a lot later.
It is an absolutely gorgeous Sunday day here in Pittsburgh. I'm Charlie Jones along with Todd Christensen. Thus far in the ballgame, the Jets lead by a score of 3-0, but the Steelers, in reality, both offensively and defensively, have been dominating the ballgame.
Well, yeah, you're right. And I know I wanted to get into the football part of it, but I was really disappointed that you did not pronounce Monongahela when the river came by. That's
only one of the 3 rivers.
I know. I just wanted to hear you pronounce it. That's all.
But Donald, pass is broken up. You know the story of the first time I worked here.
I don't.
And I was going through all 3 rivers. And I got to the I thought you knew about that.
Yeah, you're not the first to laugh.
Jeff Graham, the intended receiver. James Hasty is the man who broke it up. And it will be 2nd down and 10.
Getting back to your point, though, you're right that the Steelers really have dominated, but the 2 turnovers have, in effect, taken the crowd a little bit out of the game right here. Because early on in that first series, they were quite vociferous.
2nd down and 10. Just outside of the Steelers' 30-yard line. And here's Barry Foster.
Same play.
Foster, first down. Out of bounds, Jet territory. Inside the 49-yard line. 21 yards on the scamper. Mike Grimm took him out of bounds.
Same play that got him the big yards early in the first quarter. Here comes Hasselrick pulling out again, and he follows him right outside. Look at that, stealing the corner, and then all Foster has to do is cut to the outside and get the extra yardage. And when you have your secondary people like Lonnie Young making a lot of tackles, that means that the offensive line is doing the job.
And it's a first down for the Steelers. The ball just outside the Jet 48-yard line. Barry Foster now 6 carries, 38 yards. With 4:55 time remaining, we're in the first quarter. Jets lead it by a score of 3-0. And here is Foster to the left side. And he's not going to pick up anything. It'll be 2nd down and 10 as Kyle Clifton was waiting for him.
Kyle Clifton is an interesting story. Here's somebody that in his 8 years, the last 8 years, the man has averaged 138 tackles a season. 138 tackles he's averaged. 2 years ago, he led the league, according to their statistics, with 199 tackles. Now, I know that this is usually a statistic that coaches and stat people keep, but, you know, when we went to, we talked to Frank yesterday. Frank, in charge of the PR man for the Jets, he told us, Frank Ramos, yes. He said, no, those are legitimate numbers. That is really impressive.
O'Donnell to throw, has pressure, steps away. Throws on the run, and it is incomplete. White Stone, the intended receiver. Good pursuit. And Mike Grimm had the coverage downfield. It'll be third down. And a Steeler shaken up on the play. And that's Tunch-Ilkin in his 13th year. Played his collegiate ball at Indiana State. And he was there with Larry Bird. And he said, when Bird retired, said, that really hurt because I knew I was coming to the end of my career.
Hopefully those people out there that don't have triskaidekaphobia, 13th player in Steeler history to play 13 years, and of course today is September 13th. No, huh? Okay. Tunch-Ilkin, an interesting story that his first, there you can see some of the other 13-year greats, almost like a who's who in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Bradshaw, Blount, Green, Stotner, and of course L.C. Greenwood could conceivably still be in that Hall of Fame. Boy, a lot of great players right there playing 13 years. His rookie season, oddly enough, Charlie, was 1980 when, they're supposed to go one for the thumb. He had just missed all those great Super Bowl teams.
He wants to stay around for another ring, for his first ring. Here's a Utah, that little shovel pass to Hodge, and he's going to come up about 3 yards short of the first down, and we've got a flag in the middle of the field and a flag also right in front of the Steelers bench.
I think what it was there is that they were counting. I think both sides were counting the number of players that were on the team for the Steelers, and that's usually what that indication is. Is it tell me again, Kyle Grosscup, is that the one with the Utah pass?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Lee Grosscup.
Lee Grosscup. Where'd I get Kyle? Kyle wrote and Lee Grosscup.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Lee Grosscup. Now we're sorting out the flags, and here's Gordon McCarter.
Ineligible lineman downfield on a forward pass play. Number 73 offense. Penalty declined. Fourth down.
Well, now, what happens in the case of the Utah pass, of course, is that there's a certain timing play to where you have to wait. And, of course, the linemen count 1,001, 1,002, and then they take off. The play took a little bit longer than it was supposed to. But even so, Charlie, I'm surprised here at the 40-yard line if they don't take the penalty, given the knowledge that Mark Royals is a 100% completion percentage after that first game. This is a good spot for fake.
And also called on Justice Celtic, who just replaced Ilkin. The Jets dropping everybody back just in case they might be looking at a fake, a 26-yard kick. The ball at the 15-yard line. We'll step aside for a moment. The Jets lead it by a score of 3-0. Beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with Emmy Award-winning NFL Live. And some of you to see the Steelers colliding with the San Diego Chargers. Others will see the Browns battle the Raiders or regional action. So check your local listings. Thus far in this ball game, the Jets leading at 3-0. Time of possession, the Steelers 7:23. Jets 3.5 minutes. New York from their own 15-yard line, first down. Blair Thomas. And they're going to spot it at the 26-yard line, so he's going to pick up 11 on the first down. Darren Perry, the rookie from Penn State, makes the tackle.
Well, the interior of the line did a good job just plowing things out. Blair Thomas earlier, of course, had about 9 yards on the draw play, and he needs to get going for the Jets to be effective. Last year, they interspersed a lot of different people. It seemed like they rotated the backs, but with Freeman McNeil now a little bit older and Chafee somewhat inexperienced, the load really does fall upon Blair Thomas.
First down, Jets, their own 26. Brad Baxter. And he's going to pick up a couple of yards. Gerald Williams makes the tackle at the 28-yard line, and it will be second down and 8. 2 minutes and 45 seconds time remaining. We're in the first quarter, and the Jets lead 3-0.
Brad Baxter had a costly fumble at the 5-yard line for the Jets last week against the Atlanta Falcons. As we mentioned at the top, Bruce Coslet commenting that we just can't afford this sort of thing where we lose to teams we should beat.
Second and 8, little play action fake. Nagel goes deep, and it is incomplete. Rob Moore, the intended receiver. Rod Woodson has the coverage. It will be third down and 8.
There's a case right there of two outstanding athletes, Rod Woodson and Rob Moore. One of the things that Browning Nagel said to us yesterday was that he was so excited to finally play with people that can go up and get it. There you can see Moore has Woodson beat, but just a little bit tucked over to the other side of the shoulder. Actually a pretty good throw, and it would have been a great catch if he could have come up with it, but he did not. think he just twisted his ankle. I think he'll be okay. That man right there played what he told us yesterday, Charlie, the best game of his career last week against the Houston Oilers. Not just the 2 interceptions, which was a career best for him in a single game, but the tackles that he had, batted down passes and passes defense. He was outstanding.
Also, so far in this ballgame, he's not been returning, and he loves, which is different than most players, he loves to punt return and to kickoff return. He says he wants to do them both.
About $1,000,001. I hope he wants to.
Woodson said it will be basic hat-on-hat football today. Nagel has completed only 1 of 5 for 8 yards. Third down and 8, has pressure. He goes deep far side, and it is incomplete. Al Toon, the intended receiver. Little hesitation on Toon's part. And the Steelers defense once again stopping the Jets. The Steelers defense has been strong in the first period.
Well, this is definitely what you would call not a covered sack, but take a look at the feet of Browning Nagel. He is a progression quarterback. Okay, there he looks. Now he hesitates a little bit, and here he's just going to chuck the ball away. Part of the problem with a young quarterback is the ability to be spontaneous. You know, he's very regimented into the system, and that's all well and good, but the ability to improvise is not his strong suit at this point in his career.
Aguiar's kick is terrible. It goes out of bounds far side. What you did not notice that downfield, the return man was the man who got his wish, Rod Woodson. Maybe that caused the bad kick.
That's right. Maybe they kicked away from him.
Back in a moment. Coach Elkin with, that was Ralph Berlin you saw just a moment ago, the trainer with him, and they went into the stadium to x-ray. There he is, Ralph Berlin, his right elbow. We do not have a report. He has been replaced by Justin Strelzik. The Steelers now on offense, and that, of course, means that Dennis Byrd will have big, wide eyes and is going to be going after the offense, because he'll be right across from the backup tackle. And here is Foster coming to the left side to the 49-yard line, a gain of 7, 2nd and 3. Kyle Clifton with the tackle on Barry Foster.
Well, I don't know if it's eye for eye or tooth for tooth there, because, of course, the Jets have also lost Logman. Take a look here. Going to the other side now, Duval Love, who pulled out once or twice for Eric Dickerson there for the L.A. Rams, doing the same thing. Good job of sealing there, because Kyle Clifton didn't come out, as you mentioned, Charlie, until he was able to get about 7, 8 yards. Foster off to a very good start here in the first quarter.
45 yards in the first period. And it's 2nd down. Jets lead by a score of 3-0. And here's Foster to the right side, and he is ramped up immediately by Kyle Clifton. It's going to be 3rd down. And about a half a yard to go. We'll check in with the 10-minute ticker.
What a comeback by the Giants.
Oh, yeah. Seattle still struggling. Tampa Bay with a big win. Yeah.
2-0.
San Francisco with the early lead over Buffalo. The Chargers trail early in their ball game. Houston leading Indianapolis.
That could be a close ball game, I think.
And here at Three Rivers Stadium, the New York Jets 3 and the Pittsburgh Steelers 0, taking the final countdown to the end of the first quarter. 3 tight ends for the Steelers on the short yardage. And Foster will pick up the first down as he goes to the 46-yard line.
There's a little concern with the 3 tight end offense, Charlie, because of the injury to Eric Green and
Russ Campbell.
And exactly, Russ Campbell, who broke his hand, and so they had to replace them quickly on the roster with both Jesse Anderson. There you see right there Adrian Cooper, who Bill Cowher told us he felt like he was probably the best second-string tight end in the league. So even though they miss Eric Green, they're not missing too much of a beat having Cooper in there.
He also said, we play so much tight end, I really consider him a starter. I don't consider him a backup. And that is the end of the first quarter here at Three Rivers Stadium with the score of the New York Jets 3 and the Pittsburgh Steelers 0. Back to the second period in a moment. First quarter, time of possession, the Steelers almost 10 minutes and the Jets just over 5. Total offense, Pittsburgh 99 yards, the Jets 29. But the statistics that count is on the scoreboard. Jets 3, Steelers 0. First down, Steelers. Jeff Graham underneath the coverage and goes out of bounds at the 35-yard line, a gain of 11. And a first down.
And somebody who's a little embarrassed right now is Bobby Houston, outside backer for the New York Jets. Graham catches the short pass, and as you'll see at the end of it, he stiff-arms Houston, who's a much bigger guy. Just a short crossing pattern, trying to get underneath the zone, utilizing Hodge to the inside. Now watch what happens here. Now this is a wider. This shouldn't happen. You know, Bobby Houston's got to be a little bit frustrated with himself because, you know, when you get a shot at some of the smaller guys like the receivers in the open field, you want to take cracks at them. You get stiff-armed by a wideout. Tough to take.
And here's Barry Foster. 26-yard line. Lonnie Young makes the tackle.
Once again, counter Trey working on that right side for the Houston Oilers. Here comes Duval Love, coming across, kicking out Houston, and inside, there goes Foster. And again, Lonnie Young with the tackle, but much too far downfield.
Foster now 58 yards in 11 carries.
This is a good opportunity. Let me say this for the guards, both Hasselrig and Duval Love. Last week they faced Ray Childress, and they had some kind of struggle with Ray Childress. And now to get to pull out and knock on some of the people in the secondary, he's got to feel pretty good.
Foster again. And he is going to go to the 24-yard line. He'll pick up the first down. He needed one, and he got two to the Jet 24-yard line. Kyle Clifton with the tackle, along with Mo Lewis.
You know what? As a player, I didn't like this, and I got to tell you why. You know, when things are going your way, I want the guy to come into the huddle and make the call. I always hated it when he had to look over to the sidelines and get somebody else's opinion. That's why, as I've told you before, I wish they'd invoke that tennis rule, which means you can't look over to your coaches. The quarterback has to call their own plays. I really like that.
First down, Steelers. Good hole, right side. Foster to the 10. He's going to score.
We've been harping on that right side of the line, and once again, kicked out Bobby Houston. And where is everybody in the secondary? Kyle Clifton cut to the outside, so he wasn't there in the middle. Dwight Stone blocks on brim. Easy money for the Pittsburgh Steelers there.
Duval Love with a key block. Extra point is good. Steelers 7, Jet 3. Back with a kickoff in a moment. Barry Foster scoring the touchdown. University of Arkansas. He is having an awesome first half. Gary Anderson will be kicking off with Mathis and McMillan, the deep back. And Eric McMillan is going to run it out of the end zone, and he gets away with it. He gets back to the 20-yard line. Now let's go back to the touchdown.
Some things I guess you can never wear out, but here's a little wrinkle to it. Here on the counter tray, coming across is Duval Love. Now watch underneath, you're going to see Hodge come across, and as soon as Clifton will take himself completely out of the play, two guys here blocked down, there's going to be nobody here in the secondary, and Foster's going to go untouched. Look at that in the middle of the field. Absolutely no one. Nothing but green polytape.
Make-believe grass. Jets first down. Now the crowd back into the ball game for the Steelers. And here's Blair Thomas. And he's got 3 to the 23. Gerald Williams making the tackle.
You know, when we talked with Pete Carroll, the defensive coordinator, yesterday, I asked him about Barry Foster, Charlie. I said, is this guy a great runner, or, you know, did Houston make him look good? He says, well, he's pretty good. And, you know, the Jet defense right now is making him look like a star.
He's running like a star.
Well, that's it. Well, they're blocking like stars is what it is.
2nd and 7. Brad Baxter. First down at the 36-yard line. Gain of 13 yards on the play.
Left side of the offensive line took their cue from the Steelers, and they're blowing them out. Good hole for Baxter, and a much-needed first down for the Jets.
And with a look at the 10-minute ticker, the score here is a reminder at Three Rivers Stadium, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7 and the New York Jets 3.
That Houston-Indianapolis score, Charlie, remember last week the Colts had 11 sacks against Bernie Kosar. I'm sure that was a film that Warren Moon didn't want to look at too much.
And also, they got rid of their winning quarterback.
That was strange, Thomas, wasn't it? That was strange.
That was covered in the NFL Live in the pregame show, in which you were on, talking about the quarterback changes and controversies around the league. Also, of course, in San Diego, they made a quick change, going to Stan Humphries as their now starting quarterback over Gagliano. But Mark Herman, starter, wins the opener. First time since the Colts have been in Indianapolis that they won the opener. And he's out of there.
Yeah, how would you like that? The coach says, could you come into the office for a second? What is this? Congratulations.
Yeah.
We going to dinner? What's this pink slip?
Second down and 1. Here's Thomas. He's in trouble. He's going to lose him out through. Ron Woodson came up from the corner to seal it off.
Why do you go with a counter tray on 2nd and 1 when you've been running in the middle of the field twice for huge yardage? You have 2nd and 1. Why go with the misdirection? I mean, I realize that he slipped, and of course Rod Woodson made a good play. But, you know, the Bum Phillips theory is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So why not stay in the middle of the field and give yourself a chance? Make the Steelers stop that first. The interior of the Jet line has been doing an outstanding job of moving the people here in the last 2 series.
The Jets are 0 for 3. Third down opportunity. Nagel fires, and
nice.
It is caught. Oh, he drills this one to Rob Moore.
Well, I got an idea. Why don't we go hang our clothes on the line that was that pass, shall we? What a laser beam that Nagel had in there. I wonder if he's motioning his shoulder because it hurts from the hit or hurts from catching the ball. I mean, that's about as good a coverage as you can get from Woodson, but the ball is right there embedded in the chest. Wow.
47-yard line of the Steelers, first down. And remember what Bobby Houston and Mo Lewis told us? They said that in practice, the receivers came back. They had to ask Nagel, take something off of it. You know, we're getting bumps and bruises. Hit, bubble, the ball is loose. Still loose, scramble. The Steelers say they have it, and they may.
Donald Evans may have been the man that came up with the ball, but the man that made the play was nose tackle Gerald Williams. He stunts, and he fools Sweeney right there. Look at that. He just comes back before Nagel can even get the handoff. And, of course, Thomas has a shot at it, but the momentum, heads-up play by the Steelers here, because when the ball is loose like that, take a look at now at the ball. Watch not go for the ball, but that's a good play by Gerald Williams right there as he stuck his hands underneath, pulled Thomas off the ball because he knew the pursuit was Steelers who would come up with it. Good play by both the Williamses.
And Donald Evans came up with it. They strike quickly through the air. It is incomplete. As O'Donnell going to Dwight Stone. Mike Brim had the coverage. It'll be second down and 10. Oh, I like that. As soon as you get the turnover, go for the touchdown.
Absolutely right. But then again, give Mike Brim credit. He wasn't fooled at all. He was running with a man who told us that he had a 40 speed of 4.25, running with him stride for stride. Good coverage there by Mike Brim, right with Dwight Stone. Last week, Dwight Stone had his best yardage. He had total yardage of 177 yards on both runs, catches, and kick returns. Obviously, Brim wasn't too intimidated.
Second down and 10. Here's the draw to Hodge. Hodge has the first down and out of bounds. He goes out at the 26-yard line. Gain of 14, first down. Mo Lewis finally got to it.
This is a strange-looking draw play. Usually the draw, the man goes right back in the middle. Watch all the direction heads to the right, and it looks like he's going to go up the middle. Look at this. Blitz comes in, and there's nobody left to the outside.
Misdirection draw.
Very interesting. Merrill Hodge, of course, if you recall a couple of years ago, in the 1990 playoffs against both the Oilers and the Denver Broncos, had 100-yard days. And I think a lot of people felt like he was going to be a next Pro Bowl runner. And it hasn't materialized, but he is certainly one of the best all-around backs in the National Football League for blocking, running, and catching.
First down, 26-yard line. Here. Foster to the right side. 3 yards to the 23. So it'll be second down and 7.
Only 3 yards there, but that could have gone for a lot more if not for Bobby Houston fighting off the tight end and making the play. Foster now at 87 yards.
When we talked with Bobby Houston yesterday, we asked him about the tight ends. He said, I'd rather have a big guy than a smaller guy as a tight end. He He said those little guys, they get on you too quick.
I thought that was interesting. I would think as a linebacker, I wouldn't want to be seeing Cooper, who's 6'5", 265 in my face.
Second down and 7. Flag is down. O'Donnell is down.
Remember what he said when he was going to get a sack?
Yes. Oh, yes. Now watch him. He said he would turn and point to. He said, I don't get that many, but if I do, I'm going to celebrate. Now, does he remember?
Well, the flag is down, so he doesn't get a chance to. Illegal motion. Do they get a chance now? Do they get a chance to refuse it or not? That's the question.
Illegal motion. 33 offense. Penalty decline.
That's on Hodge.
Third down.
They do, yes.
Injury timeout.
It's an illegal motion, not a false start. John Jackson is the player who is down for the Steelers. And we will step aside for just a moment with the score. Steelers 7 and the Jets 3. This is Charlie Jones and Todd Christensen. 8:18 time remaining in the first half. With the score of the Pittsburgh Steelers 7, the New York Jets 3. John Jackson being assisted from the field of play. Let's go back to that sack by Bobby Houston.
Well, when we talked with Bobby Houston yesterday, we talked about the fact that the strong side linebacker doesn't get a lot of numbers, doesn't get a lot of tackles and sacks. But right here you can see he comes, absolutely nobody touches him. He's able to sack O'Donnell. And he told us that if he did, he was going to look up and point towards us, and that's what he's trying to do, but he doesn't know where we are.
He just picked a booth and said,
he just picked a booth. Yeah, that's close enough.
Ariel Solomon has come into that offensive line for John Jackson. In total offense thus far, Steelers 156 yards, Jets 39. 3rd and 13. Pittsburgh converting on 3 of 5 third-down opportunities. It is intercepted. Could be a touchdown. Here goes Mike Brim. Taking the ricochet. Starts the celebration at the 10-yard line. Jets regain the lead. Can you believe it? 76 yards on the return. In and out of the arms of Merrill Hodge.
And as unlucky as the New York Jets were last week, that's how lucky they've been thus far. Almost tripled and quadrupled in total yardage. That man right there is the man who feels the absolute worst on the field right now. It just hits him and bounces up. What a great bounce for Brim, and he's going to go the distance because offensive linemen aren't going to catch him.
Officially 77 yards on the interception return. And the extra point, bad snap. Jarosky waits, flips the upright. His kick is good. The score, the Jets 10, the Steelers 7. We'll be back with the kickoff. With that 77-yard interception return for the touchdown, his first NFL touchdown. Leading interceptor for the Jets last year. He had 4. Aguiar kicking off to White Stone. Is the deep back on the return, taken by one of the up backs. And that is Jesse Anderson, the tight end, who takes it and downs it at the 22-yard line. Be sure to be with us at halftime for the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report with Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson. Dan Hampton is the guest. I'll have his scores and all the highlights around the league.
I was going to say, Dan Hampton had a pretty good line there this morning when he was talking about how much weight the refrigerator had lost. He said he went from Haas to Little Joe in one fell swoop. That was a good line.
Pittsburgh first down, their own 23-yard line. Neil O'Donnell, 3 of 8. 2 interceptions, one by Dennis Price, and one by the touchdown-scoring Mike Brim. And O'Donnell does not like what he sees. He calls for a timeout. I will step aside for just a moment. Jets lead it 10-7. Todd Christensen. Over the years, there's been an evolution in the size of the football players at specific spots. And we're going to take a look at that change after this play. Steelers first down their own 23-yard line. Hodge the ball carry, and he picks up a couple of yards. And we're at Three River Stadium, and when you're here, you always think about
Well, you think about the linebackers here. We get a chance to take a look at the size of 3 all-pro former linebackers of the Steelers. Jack Ham, 6'2", 225. Lambert, 6'4", 220. And, of course, Andy Russell. There you see the average there at the bottom. But as you pointed out, there is an interesting evolution in size.
That same average now correlates to the quarterback. Browning Nagel and Neil O'Donnell, you got linebackers at quarterback.
You and I were over in Kauai for the quarterback challenge, and we were surprised at how big all these people were anymore. It's almost as if the Fran Tarkenton and Joe Theismann era is no longer.
It is no longer. Second down and 9. Foster the ball carrier. And it'll be third down and 9. Bobby Houston makes the tackle.
A little of the juice has gone out of the crowd here in Three River Stadium as a result of that 77-yard interception return. Certainly in the case of the Steelers dominating the game yardage-wise, but those turnovers have been costly.
The Jets with 3 takeaways, 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery. The Steelers have 1 takeaway and a fumble recovery. Pittsburgh 3 of 5 third down conversions. Third down and 9. A fake of the draw, and the pass is complete to Graham. First down. Marcus Turner with the tackle. Good play. O'Donnell with a great fake and came up and hit Graham.
It was a good play-action fake. Neil O'Donnell faking the draw to Merrill Hodge and comes up, and Graham once again with a big third down catch. The only guy that moved a little bit is Brian Washington. He had him in man coverage, and there you can see Graham with a nice hands, comes up, gets the necessary yardage for the first down.
When we talked to Graham yesterday, we asked him his best ever time in the 40. He said 4.4. Downhill 4.3. Downhill with the win 4.2.
You're the one that said that. Why did you ask him that? Why did you say if he went downhill? He was somewhat offended by that, I think.
I think he liked it. Here's Foster, left side. 3 yards to the 40-yard line. It'll be second down and 7. Joe Kelly with the tackle.
But then again, he probably runs 4.55 or 4.6 because you know that whenever anybody gives you their best 40 time, that's usually a 1/10 and a half or 2/10 off what they really run. Of course, I always told the truth. You know, I always told him 4.2.
Yeah, of course. Without blinking. Second down and 7. Change at middle linebacker for the Jets. Joe Kelly has replaced Kyle Clifton. Clifton just taking a breather on the far side. Barry Foster has now rushed for 90 yards in 16 carries, and here he comes again. So make that 95 yards. And we still have 4 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the first half. Jets lead it 10-7.
Once again, running to the right side. They found a weakness over there, and they continue to exploit it. Merrill Hodge, lead blocker, kicking out Bobby Houston, cutting up, and once again, that probably wasn't a good idea for Clifton to come out because Duval Love did a nice job coming out to cut his replacement, Joe Kelly. And you can see a little bit of concern on the face of Pete Carroll. The man's going to have 100 yards by halftime, and this is not exactly what he anticipated, but then again, they are up 10-7.
And the defensive coordinator of the Jets said, we've got to stop the run. We've got to make the quarterback try and beat us. We've not been able to stop the run. They do it here. Hodge on third down and 2 is stopped at the 45-yard line. It will be fourth down and 2 as Washington makes the tackle.
Wasn't that a little bit of a strange call? I mean, considering the fact that we're just talking about how much yardage Foster has and everything that he's been doing, and so on a third and 2, they go to Hodge. Doesn't seem to make much sense there.
10-minute ticker, a look at the early games, and then the late games. Buffalo staying close to San Francisco. Denver with the lead over San Diego. No score between New England and the Rams. And here is the kick to Carpenter. He takes it at the 15-yard line now to the 20. Slips just a little bit and is down at the 21-yard line. 41 yards on the kick, a 5-yard return, and Warren Williams makes the tackle. Here's a program note. Be sure to stay with NBC tonight for the all-new episodes of Secret Service and Eyewitness Video. That's tonight. Lead the Steelers by a score of 10-7, and the Jets have a first down. When we talked to the Jets, the ticker reminded me of the fact that the Giants lost today, although they did look good in their comeback effort, that the Jets feel that this is the year that they can recapture New York City now. By recapture, they had it for just a couple of Joe Namath years. The rest of the time, it belonged to the Giants.
Yeah, 2 decades is a long time between drinks, as they say.
Thomas, the intended receiver, Greg Lloyd, was there. It'll be second down.
It'll be frustrating if you're Greg Lloyd and the rest of the Pittsburgh defense. You're shutting down the running game for the most part. Riding Eagles having an awful first half.
2 of 8, 20 yards.
You're giving your offense every chance to be on the field, and time of possession is like 2-1 in your favor, and yet you're still down 10-7.
Now the crowd getting back into the ball game. Jets lead by 3. A knowledgeable crowd. Last week, Nagel had checked with me at the line of scrimmage 55% of the time. Good fake pass complete 35-yard line. As he hits Chris Burkett, Darren Perry with the tackle, and it's a first down at the 35.
Good call by Bruce Coslett. Misdirection play. The Steelers anticipating the run. Good play action fake. Everybody buys it. Here comes Nagel out to the outside, and here's the advantage of being a big receiver. Watch Darren Perry arrive at the same time as the ball bangs. But Darren Perry is 5'9", 185. Burkett 6'4", 200 pounds, and as a result, well, you saw the ball squirt loose, but it was too late. You already had the completion.
Time of possession, Jets 8.5 minutes. Pittsburgh 18 minutes, 1-8. Thomas is hit at the line of scrimmage. May have a yard. Donald Evans is the man who tripped him up. It'll be second down.
Chris Burkett is part of a group that they made reference to in Sports Illustrated, kind of an interesting nickname with that receiving group. 3 Men and a Baby, as called by Peter King of Sports Illustrated. Toon, Burkett, and Moore, 3 very large wide receivers. And I'm not so sure Terrence Mathis appreciates the fact that he's referred to as the lone infant, do you?
The sapling amongst the forest. Second down. Brad Baxter. 41-yard line. He has 5. It'll be third down and 4. We've got a marker down. The clock is stopped with 1:57. And no, they pick up the flag. We'll step aside. 2-minute warning to both benches. Back in a moment. It's Pittsburgh 178 yards. Jets 69. New York leads it by 3, 10-7.
This is going to show an awful lot about the confidence that Bruce Coslett has in his young quarterback. Here, a minute 57, you're up by 3, you're on the 40-yard line. He could conceivably say, well, let's call a draw play, go on the ground, not take any chances, keep the clock running. Or if he throws in this instance, it's in effect Coslett saying, I do have confidence in this kid that he can move us down the field in a 2-minute drill. Third down and 4, he's going to throw. Loops it on a timing pattern, and it is caught, yes. Rob Moore had to fight for the ball, retained possession as Sammy Walker was with him, 29 yards on the play. And the ball at the 30-yard line, first down. Needless to say, no question about his confidence in the young quarterback. That wasn't even a short toss. That was a real gamble, and they came up with it. He drills this one. It is incomplete. Al Toon, the intended receiver. Nickerson had the coverage. It'll be second down and 10 at the 30-yard line of the Steelers. When he talked to Browning Nagel, he said, you know, what a difference a year makes. He said, last year when I played a little in the San Diego game, I came in and I called a play and I didn't know what to do. And I said, oh, you guys know where to go. Just go. And he said, then last week against Atlanta, I felt like I belonged. Well, big difference. And there is a big difference because if you just saw the graphic there, he's 4 for 10, 63 yards, not having a particularly good half, but it shows a lot in a young quarterback if he keeps going at it. And that's what he's doing. And it is incomplete. Mark Boyer, the intended receiver. Lake with the coverage. It'll be third down and 10. The ball at the 30-yard line. And in case you're thinking, it's a 47-yard field goal attempt. Taking a look at the first starts here of some of the great quarterbacks for the Jets in history. Namath, of course, off to a good start, but a loss. Richard Todd, not very good numbers, and Kenny O'Brien, a loss as well. But take a look at the number of yards that Nagel threw for against that Atlantic secondary last week. Third down and 10. As pressure steps away, fires, juggled, incomplete. Rod Woodson made the defensive play, and Nagel just continues to drill the ball. This was the tight end, Mark Boyer. And he's got to be frustrated because Rod Woodson comes completely untouched on the blitz. He avoids him, does a great job, now drills it right into Mark Boyer. This ball's got to be caught. Right here, he can't. He stumbles and can't come up with it. give Nickerson credit for the hit, but still, that ball's got to be caught.
47-yard field goal attempt by Starosky. Aguiar is holding. Roger Duffy is the snapper. And it is no good.
And with 1:12 left, Charlie, that's plenty of time for O'Donnell to get down the field.
It was a high, lazy floater. Did a Steeler get a hand on it?
It was kind of a funny way it went. Right there, you can see Carnell Lake was close. I think it was just a situation where Starosky just missed it. Pushed it right.
So the Steelers take over on their own 30-yard line, first down. With 1 minute and 12 seconds left to go in the first half. And they come out with 4 wide receivers. And O'Donnell is sacked at the 25-yard line. So it'll be second down and 15. Stop the clock with a timeout. We'll step aside for a moment. We'll be back. Since Starosky missing that 47-yarder, he hit a 32-yarder early. Last week, he hit one, missed two.
You got to remember, Charlie, the 3 kicks that he's missed are 41, 42, and 47. Those aren't exactly gimmies. Those are an extra point, and those are tough kicks. You notice that the statistic you always see amongst kickers is their average underneath 40 and beyond 40. That should tell you something.
Second and 13. And O'Donnell is sacked again. This time Marvin Washington got him. Last time it was Dennis Bird.
Well, John Jackson, the left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers, we saw limp off earlier, and he's back in the game. But Marvin Washington just completely overpowered him. It was a total bull rush, and he just went right over the top of Jackson to sack O'Donnell. Nothing terribly fancy. Cut from the left side of your screen, you're going to see 65 back up into your picture. Look at that. He just stuffs him back into O'Donnell and makes the sack. Marvin Washington's showing a lot of strength there, and Jackson not too happy with himself.
And with it third down and 24 and 1:03 to go, the Jets take a timeout to stop the clock, figuring that they can have one more opportunity. New York with 4 sacks, a loss of 29 yards by the Steelers in the first half. And a program note, next Sunday, NBC Sports presents more exciting NFL football action beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time. For the Emmy Award-winning NFL Live, and some of you to see the Steelers collide with the Chargers. Others will see the Browns battle the Raiders or regional action. So check your local listing.
Charlie, those 4 sacks are that much more impressive when you realize that the biggest sacker of 1991, Jeff Lageman, went out. He's out of the game.
Neil O'Donnell, the quarterback of the Steelers, his dad is looking in today, watching the telecast. Here's a screen. It is complete to Hodge, and Hodge will get to the 19-yard line. It will be fourth down.
Marvin Washington first off showing us strength, now showing us some speed. Taking the place there at the right defensive end of Jeff Lageman. Now take a look at Merrill Hodge, set up the screen. Good safe call, keeps the clock running. Now watch 97 in the middle. He spins off. He recognizes the screenplay. Now watch him run down Hodge from behind. Excellent pursuit by Marvin Washington there for the Jets.
Neil's dad is in the Kessler home in East Orange, New Jersey, had brain surgery in August. Has lost the feeling on his left side, but all of the spirit is there, and he gets a chance to watch his son play. Didn't get a chance to see the game last week, but a friend taped it off of the satellite and brought it over so he could see it. So Mark Royals will be kicking. Rob Carpenter is the return man for the Jets. 54 seconds, time remaining in the first half.
My guess is that he was a lot happier watching the tape of last week than what's happened so far in the first half for his son.
Jets 10, Steelers 7. 54 seconds left to go in the first half.
This is a big punt for Royals because it's going to depend on the kind of field position they give the Jets here to let them kick a field goal.
Here's the pressure. Terrible kick. A little bit of a Steeler roll.
I must have put the pressure on him.
45-yard line, 35 yards on the kick. And New York will have the ball at their own 45-yard line, 55 yards from the end zone. However, about 30 yards from another field goal attempt by Jason Starosky, who is 1 of 2.
Interesting point here, Charlie. One of the things about when the ball takes a bounce like that, you're trying to kill time. The more it rolls, the more time it takes up. So that was actually about a 5, 6, 7 seconds that cost the New York Jets there. Maybe if Carpenter had run up and just fallen on the ball, that might have been better for him to save him about 8 or 10 seconds.
I think you're right. Browning Nagel fires right side. Pass is complete to Burkett. 45-yard line of the Steelers' hurry-up offense. Jets are set to go.
Now, if Nagel spikes the ball, he'll have to come up with a 3rd down play.
No, it was a 1st down.
Oh, they did.
Fumble. Steelers have the ball. Blair Thomas fumbled. And Donald Evans has his 2nd fumble recovery of the ball game. Cornel Lake caused it.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that he fumbles, but Jeff Criswell's the one that makes a big mistake here. Now watch, he's going to bust through the line. You're going to see the run. Now watch when he coughs up the ball. The first guy that gets a shot at it is the left tackle, Jeff Criswell. Now what you're going to do here is don't try and pick it up. Just fall on the ball. Watch number 69 try and pick it up. This is a mistake. Just fall on it. Fall on it. Instead, he overruns it, and Donald Evans is able to come up with the ball. I mean, it's not as if, Jeff Criswell, 6'7", 280 pounds. Even if he does pick the ball up, it's not like he's going to go the distance. Just fall on the ball.
So the Steelers have another opportunity. Trips, 3 receivers right side. Hail Mary. Here it is. Tip. Steelers have the ball at the 11-yard line with 1 second to go, and time runs out.
Too late.
They're going to give it to him. Neal is a timeout. Neil O'Donnell was standing next to the referee calling the timeout.
Now, the Jets don't think so.
The Jets have headed towards the locker room.
Bruce Coslett and the rest of the Jets are leaving.
Jeff Graham caught it at the 11.
Charlie, that should have been something that was in the huddle. Knowing that if they made the catch, they called the timeout. Interesting to see what Gordon McCarter's going to say, and evidently you're right. They are going to give him 1 second on the clock.
Because Neil O'Donnell, as soon as he put the ball in the air in a brilliant move, went right to the referee.
To 2 seconds. There are 2 seconds remaining.
51 yards.
There are 2 seconds remaining.
They'll reset it
Thank
to
you.
2 seconds remaining.
Watch Neil O'Donnell here. Got the ball up in the air. Now he sees whether or not it's going to be caught. Let's see his reaction. Oh, we're not going to get a chance to, but Charlie was right. He was heads up enough to make the ball.
This is good. And suddenly it's a 10-10 tie.
And now look at Pete Carroll and look at Bruce Coslett. They can't believe it. Look at the argument right there that he's having with Gordon McCarter. He can't believe that this is the way things have transpired at the end of the first half. Now Coslett's pulling him off. Now look at this. Look at this debate between Coslett and Cower. I mean, they are really John with one another. They're not too terribly happy with that call. And Gordon McCarter, of course, is completely on the other end of the field. And Coslett is asking, now, how do you know how much time was on the clock when the ball was still being tipped up in the air and then when he fell down, and if he was touched, if that's when the time ran out? If there's a possibility of getting a replay to see, oh, my.
Oh.
I don't think he's saying they're number one. I'm going to take a guess.
Look at it. Oh, what a second half we're going to have in store. We thought the fans were involved in the first half. Wait till Coslett and the Jets come out for the second half.
Well, he gave him the arm salute, didn't he?
He certainly did.